long before written memory and long before humanity understood its own existence. Early humans lived lives shaped by routine rather than destiny, waking each day to a world that demanded attention, awareness, and effort just to remain alive. These early humans were not explorers seeking greatness or thinkers questioning meaning, but practical beings whose lives revolved around food, water, shelter, and safety, repeating patterns learned from generations before them. Their days began with scanning the land, listening for danger, reading the movement of animals and weather, and adjusting their actions accordingly, because survival depended on awareness rather than strength. Unlike modern humans, they did not imagine a future far ahead, but focused on the immediate moment, gathering food, repairing tools, caring for children, and maintaining the fragile balance that kept their group alive. Their intelligence expressed itself not through invention, but through adaptation, learning which paths were safe, which plants nourished, which sounds signaled danger, and which actions protected the group. Life was not dramatic, but constant, a slow rhythm of movement, observation, and cooperation, where small mistakes could mean loss and small successes meant another day of existence in a world that never paused to offer mercy. Early human communities were small, tightly bonded groups whose survival depended on shared responsibility rather than individual achievement. Every person mattered because each role supported the others, creating a system where gathering, hunting, protection, teaching, and care were interconnected parts of daily life. Children were never left alone, not out of sentiment, but necessity, as they represented the future survival of the group and required years of learning before becoming capable contributors. Knowledge passed silently through observation as young humans watched elders shape tools, track animals, prepare food, and respond to threats, learning through repetition rather than instruction. Communication relied on gestures, expressions, vocal sounds, and shared experience, allowing coordination without formal language. Conflict within groups was rare because cooperation ensured survival and isolation meant death. When disagreements arose, they were resolved through movement, separation, or group pressure rather than dominance, because unity mattered more than control. In this environment, early humans learned that survival was strongest when effort was shared and when individuals placed the group above personal desire, a principle that would later become the foundation of human societies. The physical world shaped every aspect of early human life as landscapes determined movement, behavior, and survival strategies. Forests offered protection but limited visibility, while open plains allowed awareness but increased vulnerability, forcing humans to constantly adapt their position and timing. Rivers became lifelines, providing water, food, and navigation, while also attracting predators, creating zones of both opportunity and danger. Early humans learned to read the environment with precision, understanding animal tracks, wind direction, cloud movement, and seasonal changes without written knowledge or measurement. Tools were simple yet effective, shaped from stone, bone, and wood, and maintained carefully because replacing them required time, effort, and risk. Fire, when available, was protected with constant attention, as losing it meant exposure to cold, darkness, and predators. Shelter evolved slowly from temporary coverings to more stable structures, depending on climate and mobility needs. Through constant interaction with the land, early humans developed a deep awareness of cause and effect, recognizing that patience, observation, and restraint often mattered more than speed or force, allowing them to survive across diverse environments without controlling nature, but by moving in harmony with it. Food shaped the structure of early human life more than any belief or tradition, because every decision revolved around obtaining enough nourishment to survive without exhausting the group. Gathering was the most reliable source of food and required deep knowledge of plant seasons and terrain, as early humans learned which roots were edible, which fruits ripened at certain times, and which plants healed or harmed. Hunting was unpredictable, dangerous, and physically demanding, requiring patience, coordination, and risk, and success was never guaranteed. When a hunt failed, the group adapted by moving, changing routes, or relying more heavily on gathered food rather than insisting on dominance over nature. Sharing food was not generosity, but survival logic, because unequal distribution weakened the group and increased conflict. Those who hunted successfully shared with those who gathered, cared for children, or guarded the group, reinforcing interdependence. Through this balance, early humans learned restraint, knowing that taking more than needed threatened future survival, teaching a discipline that shaped behavior long before concepts of morality existed. Early humans experienced emotion deeply, even without language to name it, as fear, loss, attachment, and comfort played powerful roles in shaping behavior and memory. Bonds between parents and children were intense because human offspring required long periods of care, unlike most animals, creating lasting relationships built on protection, teaching, and trust. Grief followed death because every individual mattered, and loss affected the group's ability to survive, forcing adaptation and emotional response. Though rituals were simple, early humans showed signs of awareness toward death through attention to body silence or placement in protected spaces, suggesting early forms of respect and remembrance. Companionship reduced stress and increased resilience as proximity, warmth, and shared activity calmed fear during dangerous nights. These emotional connections strengthened cooperation, making groups more stable and responsive under pressure. Over time, emotional memory influenced decision-making as humans avoided dangerous places, remembered past losses, and sought environments that offered safety, familiarity, and balance, allowing experience to shape survival beyond instinct alone. Movement defined early human existence, as groups rarely remained in one place for long unless conditions were unusually stable. Seasonal migration followed food availability, water sources, and climate shifts, requiring constant decision-making and flexibility. Travel was slow, deliberate, and cautious, with children, elders, and resources shaping pace and direction. Routes were remembered, shared, and refined over generations, forming invisible maps carried in memory rather than written record. Encounters with other human groups were rare, but significant, sometimes leading to exchange, information, cooperation, or avoidance, depending on circumstances. These interactions expanded knowledge, introducing new tool designs, behaviors, and survival strategies that spread gradually across regions. Adaptability became the most valuable trait, as groups that adjusted quickly survived while those that resisted change disappeared. Through movement, early humans expanded across landscapes, not as conquerors, but as careful observers, learning to exist within environments rather than transform them, building resilience through experience rather than control. Time slowly changed early humans, not through sudden discovery, but through accumulated experience that shaped thinking, behavior, and awareness across generations. As memory expanded beyond immediate survival, early humans began anticipating outcomes, choosing safer routes, adjusting hunting methods, and preparing for seasonal scarcity with greater intention. Tools improved gradually as techniques were refined, passed forward, and preserved through observation rather than instruction. Even small innovations mattered because they reduced risk, conserved energy, and increased efficiency. This growing awareness allowed early humans to respond rather than react, giving them greater control over survival without altering the natural world itself. Decision-making became more complex as choices considered group safety, future needs, and environmental patterns rather than immediate reward. In this way, intelligence emerged not as abstract thought, but as practical wisdom shaped by repetition, consequence, and survival success.
Social behavior evolved alongside intelligence as early humans learned that stability increased survival more effectively than constant movement or conflict. Groups developed routines, gathering at familiar locations, resting at predictable times, and coordinating tasks with greater efficiency. Trust deepened as individuals relied on one another, consistently reinforcing cooperation through shared outcomes rather than authority. Conflict between individuals was minimized through separation movement or group influence because dominance threatened unity and weakened survival. Over time, shared behaviors formed recognizable group identities expressed through movement patterns, tool styles, and communication habits. These identities strengthened cohesion, allowing groups to function with minimal disruption even during stress. Through shared experience, early humans learned that order did not require rules, but emerged naturally when cooperation supported survival. As generations passed, early humans developed an increasing sense of connection to place, memory, and continuity, even without symbolic expression. Familiar landscapes carried meaning as safe areas, dangerous zones, and resource locations became linked to past experiences, shaping emotional response and decision-making. The land became a record of survival stories held in memory rather than words, influencing where groups returned and where they avoided. Knowledge accumulated slowly, creating cultural continuity as behaviors survived beyond individual lifetimes. Though early humans did not record history, they lived within it, passing survival knowledge through action, imitation, and shared experience. This continuity created resilience, allowing groups to recover from loss, adapt to change, and persist across generations without formal structure, belief, or instruction. The lives of early humans were not defined by greatness, discovery, or dominance, but by persistence, patience, and collective effort carried forward across countless lifetimes. They did not know they were shaping the future, yet every decision, every adaptation, and every act of cooperation moved humanity closer to what it would become. Modern human society traces its foundations not to sudden innovation, but to these long, quiet lives lived with awareness, restraint, and connection. When we look back at early humans, we are not witnessing primitive beings, but resilient survivors whose intelligence was expressed through balance rather than control. Their legacy is not monuments or records, but the survival of humanity itself, built slowly through shared effort, learning, and endurance, proving that the most powerful force in human history was never strength or knowledge alone, but the ability to live together long enough to pass life forward.